I don't even know if anybody's coming to the chat tonight. Did anybody get notices? I don't even know if anybody got notices. I should have put up a post. Well, it is what it is. Hello, is anybody out there? It's 6 p.m., 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m. I don't even know if there's actually anything up. Well, that'd be okay too. Just you and me, we're hanging out. You and I should say. That'd be the proper English, right? Mr. Orange in the house. Orange jumpsuits. I wore some of those. Back in the day, they didn't really use that much. Yeah, Marsfield? Cool, man. Yeah, it'll go up on the membership, though, Marsfield. So you guys will be able to see them. The audio was a little bit off, though. The food. Thanks, John. Thanks, man. I appreciate you guys. Really. Thank you. Hopefully it's going to be able to build up into something. I don't know. You know, it's just, I have a lot of fun doing it because, I don't know, it's kind of therapeutic almost. Plus, if you can control the entire situation, yeah, I'd like to get a hold of Comedy Central and try to make a pitch to them or something, but, you know, if it's going to go down, it'll go down. It's, you know, I've got to get it tuned up. There was something wrong with the audio because of the copyright claim. The copyright claim is on the, hey William. Doing good. And I want to answer Mr. Orange's question about what we ate at ADX. They served us food on the trays. It was the trays that had the covers on them, the clear covers. And it was, I mean, the food was pretty good. They did serve decent food. It was usually, you know, they do a lot of casserole type stuff. It's a mix. I mean, they did put a little extra effort into the food over there. But yeah, I definitely been working on the blockheads. I've been working on building a website. You almost have to have a website. We are like trying to develop personal growth programs. So, you know, any place you look now, I mean, all of these officials, these judges, these cops, everybody, you know, we're continuously seeing them getting in the mix, them getting in trouble, right, for something or other, because video cameras are all over the place now. But what's at the root of that? What's at the root of that is pretty simple. It comes down to personal integrity. I mean, if you're going to take that kind of position and have excuse me, have that kind of authority, you ought to be able to, wield that authority within the boundaries of your job description. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of personal integrity, I think. But yeah, staying busy has really helped me a lot. Just being able to stay busy, just having so many more things to do. Every day, it kind of just rolls on past. Every day is like, okay, I've got about 10 or 15 things I need to do today. We keep like an informal list of agenda items for the day. We'll talk about it the night before. What's the plan for tomorrow? What are we going to do? So yeah, we're always doing something. Even if we're doing nothing, it's doing something. But yeah, it's all good, and we will definitely keep doing whatever we can do to keep things rolling, keep things moving forward. We've got some other ideas too about health and fitness arena. There he is, Jimmy Gunn. Slip out the back, Jack. Make a little plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. Just get yourself free. Yeah, that's a pretty popular song back in the 70s. But yeah, everything's everything. It's rolling along. I have been able to use the GPT. Do you guys know about GPT? Andy, hi. Did they follow national menu? Yes. Yes, they did. It was probably maybe a little bit better quality wise. Had the campers would prepare it. I don't think they had like a kitchen at the ADX. I never heard of it or saw anything that indicated there was one. I think this food trays were all brought over from the camp. I'm not sure. I think they were all brought by the campers. But it wasn't bad food. I mean, you get tired of the same old thing after a while, in any case, right? But I was just telling Jane, that the biggest day of the year, and you guys know this, biggest day of the year in the feds is for food. Super Bowl Sunday. Hey, Richard. Peace, brother. Namaste. I recognize the goodness in you guys. You're all doing really good, for real. But Super Bowl Sunday, man, you got the little pizza, you got the bag lunch, you got the chicken wings, maybe they threw the chocolate milk in there. The only thing that sucked about Super Bowl Sunday at the ADX, at least the first couple of years I was there, is that I didn't have a TV. I couldn't watch it. They don't issue radios at the ADX, so you don't really have anything to work with as far as entertainment or distraction other than yourself. Yeah, Jimmy, you gotta catch up with yourself, man. I mean, realistically, your life, your experience, the things that you like to do, the things that you're good at doing, I think all of that means something when you're looking. Yeah, they made it like like the Christmas meals and the Thanksgiving and New Year's and all that, they kind of dwindle off in the last or latter years. That stuff went way downhill. I mean, Jimmy can tell you, Leavenworth back in the early 90s was like that, food wise. You go in that chow hall, man, I mean, yeah, you could eat. You could eat. You could just eat off the salad bar alone. You could eat, I mean, you could eat well off the salad bar. You had, you had ice cream, you had soda, you had on Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, those holidays, yeah, you really got hooked up. But in latter years, I saw that everything just kind of went way downhill. Um, it was just, I think Jimmy probably remembers. Jimmy, do you remember yeah, yeah. Well, no, I don't remember him personally, but he left, I guess, just before I got there. But everybody's heard of Boss Hogg, right? That's ever been, um, in the mix at Leavenworth. You've heard of Boss Hogg. That was, yeah, by all accounts, that was great. Jimmy, did you ever hear about that guy in the vegetable prep? Um, he was like a Navy associate, I guess, way back in the back of the kitchen, and it was Thanksgiving, and he wanted one of the turkey legs, and the food service steward, I guess, told him he couldn't have it or no, or they got into some kind of argument over the turkey leg, and the dude, the prisoner, ended up taking down this food service steward, just basically body slammed him, I guess, on the floor, and then tried to grab the knife, and the knife, of course, was on that cable, so he couldn't really get him with the knife, I guess. And then the other dudes back there uh, talked him out of it, I guess. But yeah, yeah, that was one of the holiday incidents. Another time I remember them, the guards coming into the chow hall, and it was just packed. I know it was an evening meal, and they gaffled up some dude, some white guy. They gaffled him up, and they were kind of yanking him around a little bit. And everybody, I'm not going to say everybody, every single person, but everybody around me, hey, Zeus, glad to see you, brother. Glad to see you, man. Doing good. I tried to get a hold of you there. There's several on Facebook. Hey, Harvey. How you doing, buddy? All right, great, man. Good to have you. Good to have you on board. Yeah, I was just talking about this incident at Leavenworth where it was, I think it was one of the holidays, but they came in and gaffled up this guy. And they were kind of yanking him around a little bit. And everybody in the chow hall stood up and just, you know, dude was already surrounded. There was another guard a few feet away from him. And, okay, I'll talk to you. But, yeah, Big Al Benton, right? Or was that another Big Al? I know there was another Big Al somewhere in the mix. Um, but yeah, I mean, that guard was, you could see that he was petrified. He looked around him right quick, saw hundreds. Hey, diggity dig. All right, cheers. He saw like hundreds of prisoners all around him. He was encircled, so he suddenly changed his entire demeanor and, like, went easy on the guy, straightened his shirt, whatever. You know. Oh, yeah. I know there was another Big L. I just can't place him. But yeah, the meals really went downhill. I think the food, especially with the common fare, with the certified diet, that thing went way downhill. But at times it was still better than the other stuff, or at least it was good to get a little bit of variety every once in a while. So, I would go on that every once in a while, like just about every year for 4 or 5 months. I'd be on the certified diet / common fare, and then I'd go back to regular trays. I just tried to mix it up a little bit. And on the common fare, of course, you got the plastic trays, the black plastic. So I could use those for different things. I could make different things out of those, like my basketball backboards and rims. Yeah, yeah. I think it's like little TV dinners. But the eggs were good. The scrambled egg with the white cheese, I guess mozzarella on it, and then a little bit of almost like a hot sauce, like a mild or medium kind of a salsa or something. Yeah, the bread. Hey, country. All right, doing good, man. Good to see you. Yeah, we're just talking about food in the pen and how it kind of went downhill. Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. Um, Heart healthy. Yep, yep. Man, you had it going on. You had it going on, Marsfield. Yeah, that was that was easy time there then. But um, yeah, Super Bowl Sunday being the big event of the year, the big meal of the year, really. So I don't know what they're doing now. I don't know what they're doing with the lockdown and everything. Yeah, yeah. The bread makes the meal, man. I mean, it's an old kind of a saying, but I think it's true. If you've got a nice thick slice of, you know, good bread, I mean, it really does make that meal. At least to me, anyway, it makes it more substantial. Makes it, yeah, it makes it better. I think bread. You guys think that bread makes a meal better if it's good bread? I know soggy bread, or I hated the soggy, like, I think it was pre-made, those, what was it, the French toast, or the, the stuff with the syrup on it, or the syrup off to the side or whatever, but it was really soggy stuff. By the time it got to us, up on the ranges, it was always cold anyway. So that was uh, that was sort of our lot at the ADX was, you were never going to get like super hot tray of food. By the time it got down to the control unit, it was, it'd been sitting around for a couple hours already. So yeah, it was Super Bowl Sunday. So yeah, 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 I agree. Put the spaghetti right on the bread. I sometimes put it right on the bread. Yeah, this is really something. How, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't reported way back when, but back in the, I don't think there was all this drama going on in the. I don't think there was all this drama going on like there is now. At least I don't remember it. $4,500. Wow, wow, wow. Where's it being played? It's got to be like what, 30, 40,000 capacity over there? That's quite a payday for the promoters or owners I guess the players probably make a pretty good chunk, maybe. Probably get bonuses if they win, right? So they're doing okay. Should be a pretty good game, too, I think. Should be. Tell Chad the Bills will go next year. Bills are online for next year, probably. This year it's better. It was a better year than most, right? Ah, Arizona. Man, that's going to be Arizona. I went to that damn CCA over there in Florence, Arizona. I mean, they came and got me out of the pen. Okay, all right. I'll get in touch with him. I'll text him. And but yeah, I mean, I went down there and they got me like 3 in the morning and took me down to R&D and just left me in a cell. You know how it goes. You're in there for like hours, so um, no medications. I was on medications at the time, and so didn't have any meds. They put me on this, uh, you know, Conair, and away I went down there. We went to, I think, Phoenix, and there was a bunch of buses parked. So I got off, got in the got in the bus for the CCA. That's where they called me. I'm like, what? CCA? But I didn't argue with them because, okay, you want to take me over to the private prison? Because way back in the late 80s, early 90s, those CCA joints they were off the chain. They were, yeah, I mean, they were kind of wide open, at least from what I heard and from what I saw of the one in Kansas City. I think it was Kansas City. Maybe it was right there in Leavenworth, but I was there for a couple days at some point. But the one in Florence, Arizona, sucked. They just put us all in this friggin' holding cage, and it was like that. The wire, the fencing, the cyclone fencing. That's what they had right by R&D. They had a big fenced off enclosure. They had other rooms and stuff over on the other side. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll bet he does get a lot of emails. But anyway, they put me in there with, like, I don't know. It was shoulder, and it was mostly like Mexican nationals, and it was just shoulder to shoulder. It was just my head started spinning. So I told the dude that, I guess he was a supervisor of some kind, and I said, "Look, you gotta take me out of here, man. You gotta put me somewhere else where I can breathe. Try to hook up with medical and see what's happening with my meds, man. At least give me my meds." And so he just blew me off like they typically do. And so I caught him again a few minutes later. I said, "Man, I'm not kidding, man." I said, I've, I'm, I'm fixing to flip out." And he's like, "Yeah, well, the old line, do what you gotta do, blah, blah, blah." So he stepped the other way, and, my head just started spinning. I was like, because it was hard to breathe. And it was kind of a rough situation right there in that cage. So I went over and I started unraveling the bottom of the cage. I went over and started taking, the cyclone fences. The wire goes like that through them, right? It just connects into the next one. And if you get it started, you can just undo it, because you can bend that wire by hand. So, yeah, I just began undoing the wire. Everybody's just standing there looking at me. I just started undoing the wire. I got a pretty good sized hole through the fence right there. And then the dude, I guess maybe through a camera, or maybe he just heard or sensed something, but he stepped back down that way. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? And I just shot through that cyclone fence. I just like launched myself through there. Now I'm out running around R&D, right? And R&D is closed down, but they got these desks and these computers on them and everything. So I'm jumping up on the desk. I'm knocking these computers over. I finally jump up on top of this little bookcase thing, climb up on the top of it, and they got those great big overhead like tubes, right, for ventilation. So I jump up and I grab a hold of that and I pull myself up there. Now I'm up on top of this tube, right? And I'm thinking the air is blowing out because I'm right here by this vent is right under me. I'm thinking, the air is blowing out. But it wasn't blowing out, it was sucking in. I don't even think it would have mattered. But yeah, they came like about 6 or 8 deep and started spraying me with that Phantom. Yeah, country. I can't be like sardines like that. Whatever it is, I flip out. It's not something that I want to do. I just automatically feel myself going in that direction. So yeah, they sprayed the shit out of me from about 6 different directions. And I just kind of like leaned over. I was still hanging on to one of those braces, one of those steel braces that I climbed up, used to climb up. And then I just let go. I couldn't see nothing. I couldn't breathe. My eyes were shut. And I just hit the floor, I guess. Boom. And they ended up dragging me. They cuffed me up. And then they ended up dragging me like down the hallway. And it was a mess. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't come off. And, they eventually put me underwater, but like in a shower or in this cage where they had to water in it. But that was worse yet. That was like 10 times worse. Like activated that shit or something. I think you're supposed to use milk. I think you're supposed to use casein or something that's in milk to deactivate it. I don't know. That was some nasty shit. Yeah, they used that on that guy. I mean, just before I left USP Allenwood, that dude attacked that guard and tried to kill him. I mean, he had a bone guard, lost his eye, he had like strokes afterwards. He was messed up. He, definitely retired him. He was about to retire anyway, and it was a decent guy. And that particular guard happened to be a pretty decent guy. But yeah, they hit him with that Phantom. He went downstairs. Oh, and the only one that really came to the other officer's assistance was a female. That female had more balls, twice as many, 3 times, 100 times more balls than those dudes. Those dudes just kind of stood around like, a little wishy-washy, right, about what to do. They were like stunned. And she just took off right up the stairs, right on the range, had her little, gas out and started spraying him up. I think that's really what saved the other officer's life, was her fast response and that OC dragon, whatever they call it, Phantom. But yeah, it put him down. He was right there. He was, down on the flats. He went down and around, and he was standing there with his bone crusher, and about 3 or 4 rolled in on him and just hit him with that. And cool country. Yeah, cool. I'm going to put Tuesday afternoon up too. I'm going to put the full little short up because, it was all spontaneous. It was all spontaneous. Nothing in there was scripted, or we didn't even know exactly what that day was going to be like, right? I had like 12 hours to get to the halfway house up in New Hampshire. And so I'm leaving Ellenwood and going in that direction. But, my mom lives in between there, so I'm going to go see mom. That's off the top. So, I had already set up. You guys hip to Solitary Watch at all? You ever heard of Solitary Watch, an organization it's basically out of New York now, but Washington, D.C. as well. It's like an organization that um, lobbies against solitary confinement, particularly for juveniles and, long terms in solitude. Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah, Jimmy. The Oh yeah, that omelet was good, man. But I was sick the whole rest of the day. I ate so much. That food was so rich, and I just like gobbled it down. I mean, I was going to the neck, boom, 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 and I kind of just, I think it was just too rich. Wasn't used to it. My body wasn't used to it, so it's kind of like a little bit nauseated the rest of the day, but not that much. Not enough to make a big difference. But I wish I could have just, did what I had to do and gotten over it, because I hate that feeling. But yeah, Jimmy, to your comment, yeah, I know that it just seems that there's just so much like mindless violence. Just people are just mad. I mean, we go to the YMCA because that's where we shower, and I work out a little bit from time to time. Not work out, but I'll go shoot a few baskets, um, or sometimes I'll just go get on one of the ellipticals or something. But no one even smiles anymore. Everybody's got this like scowl on their face, like just it's weird. It's almost like we step into another dimension of reality, right? Yeah, that was the main meal, that breakfast meal. That was the main meal. We had that set up ahead of time. We already had cleared. No, Pete, the cinematographer. We already had. He was the director slash co-creator slash cinematographer, but he had already cleared that particular restaurant. He'd already talked to the owners and that, so and it was a little bit out of the way. That diner was a little bit out of the way. I forget what it's called right off the top of my head, but yeah, it's in the credits at the end. But it was a good meal. That was a good meal. That first really good food when you're out, yeah, yeah. Now I just I don't take things for granted, but, I mean, it's like, okay, here's a hamburger. Ah, yeah, 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 I agree. I agree. McDonald's, McDonald's has went downhill. They really have. They've went downhill tremendously. I mean, they're still turning profits, of course, and they probably always will. But they've really went downhill. There's other ones that are just kind of taking up that space, taking over. It looks like, anyway. I don't know, but it looks like it. And the food really isn't all that great from McDonald's. It's kind of taken on like I don't know, kind of a cheaper quality. Yeah, 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 country. It's like, you know, yeah. You try to do anything good. Well, it's like being in prison and trying to do something good. It's like, um, really, what are you up to? What angle are you playing? How are you trying to get over here? I mean, people are just so cynical. People are cynical, and yeah, I think so, Zeus. I think so. I mean, the news is it's just dressing to look at this shit. I mean, it's like, I was watching a little bit of that Murdoch trial, and there's, in my view, there's your typical lawyer, just you know, basically just a scumbag. By all accounts, I don't know him, but by all accounts, the testimony and uh, whatever they were holding up as reports and whatever those other witnesses were saying, yeah, he wasn't. He was doing a lot of shady stuff. But yeah, it's just I'd rather I'd rather have a little bit of joy than just go around like miserable. I remember this guy I met in a holding cell. I think it was at FDC Philadelphia. I think it was after my escape. Yeah, yeah, you got to be all politically correct and all that. Um, but yeah, this guy's in a holding cell. Big bones, all right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, we're in this holding cell, and this guy just got sentenced to like 10 or 12 years or something. It was some bullshit drug charge. And yeah, I think that's it. I think 9/11 did knock a big crack in the structure of society, and then COVID kind of lied that quite a bit. But I'm talking to this dude, and he's telling me, yeah, I just got sentenced and everything. They gave me, I think it was 12 years. But but he was smiling and everything. He was like, he was, he looked like he was all gassed up over something. And I'm like, what's going on? You just got sentenced to 12 years or whatever it was, and you seem to be happy. And he's like, hey, you know what? I got a choice between being miserable and being happy. And I just feel better feeling like I'm happy. So, that always stuck in my head too, the choice of our demeanor, the choice of our emotions even, unless we get caught off guard or pulled off our square. But that's why we're supposed to develop this emotional awareness or intelligence, as they call it, right? So that we can make these choices about how we're actually going to feel, how we want to feel. Yeah, 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 yeah. You can choose. You can choose your reaction. You can see. Here's the thing, though. Sometimes I try to pre-plan my responses. If this happens, then I'm going to do this. Um, but what happens is happenstance. Happenstance is this phenomena, this thing, right? It's like you can prepare, and then all of a sudden, completely out of left field, boom, something will hit you that you never even thought about or considered, or you didn't even know that was a possibility. So there's always some kind of like cosmic conspiracy going on. And I say that just for lack of better terms. I don't really, I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. But yeah, no, it's cool just to it's cool to be out and about, but to see people in society as miserable as they are, as angry as they are, as violent as they are. I mean, there's families. I don't know how many times in the last couple of weeks I saw these reports about family members being killed by family members. I mean, I want to do a crime report on it, but I don't know. Maybe there's just already too many reports out there. Um, you probably get a lot of copycats. You probably get a lot of people that just, I don't know. People are just, most people, not everybody, but yeah, you've got people that are just like, you know, let me try to do something to this person, right? Parking spots. Um, we got into it. We got into it over a parking spot. The people wanted to save the parking spot, right? For their truck. They wanted to save the parking spot. So they were, when they would go to move this big truck off the curb in the morning time, they would just jet right in behind it with their cars. So I was like, okay, I mean, that's cool. I mean, I'll help you save that space. You guys don't need to go park there. I'll park there and I'll help you save it. And they're like, no, you can't park here. You got to go, And so, they actually, the dude actually, we started to park. We were behind the truck and we started to pull forward. And the guy jetted in. He just came in with his car and hit the front of our vehicle with the fender of his. Just, like cutting us off almost. So yeah, it wasn't a criminal thing or anything, but it was like, really? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of entitlement, there's a lot of anger, frustration. I think people's hopes to a certain degree have been dashed or somehow affected. Maybe it's just the covers being pulled back. Maybe people just see how the realities of human life. Maybe they see them a little more clearly now. And a lot of people did lose family members. I know there were a lot of deaths. There were a lot of things that happened. Probably has all happened before in human history, somewhere along the line, right? But yeah, I mean, you have to just, I think, at least for me, I had to come to the point where I was willing to take a really good look at myself and say, okay, what are you about? What are you really about? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? And really the biggest question was, for myself, was, what the fuck is wrong with you? That was really the biggest question I had. I had to answer that question. I had to really do a lot of self-study just to find out, where I needed more development, where I needed, a recalibration of those skills and qualities, characteristics, attributes, whatever you want to call them. I had to actually figure it all out on my own but I mean, that's the way to do it, really. That's the only way to do it. Who can go by what other people say or what other people tell them? You're probably going to do it and find out for yourself anyway. Like when, being a teenager or something, your mom or dad says, don't do this because of this is why you don't do it, or whatever. but you're probably going to go do it or something like it anyway. And then, some people just keep on going like that until they reach the breaking point, I guess, and they end up just, serving life sentences either on the installment plan or, just all at one shot. Or they end up going off the deep end and doing some heinous kind of a crime. I mean, really? I mean, you're gonna kill your whole family. You're gonna kill your sister. You're gonna kill your mom. You're gonna kill. I mean, walk away. Do something else. Make a phone call. Get some help. Do something else. There's absolutely. It makes no sense to me whatsoever for people to uh, try to take it out on somebody else. These mass shooters that are going and killing all these people, and then they're killing themselves. They're on a suicide mission. They either want to be shot by the cops or they want to shoot themselves. Now, a lot of them do shoot themselves, right? They do follow through, but a lot of them don't. Yeah, 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 just like that, Marsfield. Yep, Amityville Horror. That house, I think the house was up for sale a few years ago or something. I remember seeing something in the news about it, but yeah, I don't know. Weird stuff that goes on. And it's just life. It's just life. But I don't know where it's all headed to. I mean, it seems like society is really fractured. Seems like society is kind of split. There's a big chasm between not only the haves and the have-nots, but politically, religiously, sociologically, everywhere you look, there's just this huge divide, this huge gap, I guess, of philosophy about human life. What's the best course? What's the best course for the country? What's the best course? We probably, I think people do probably better just thinking about what's the best for me, myself, and I. What's the best course for me, myself, and I mean, then you can think of other things, but that's what I have to think of. I have to think every day. I have to say to myself, okay, what am I going to accomplish today? What do I want to do? How do I want to use this freedom? How do I want to enjoy myself, as a human being, as a person who is relatively free? Because none of us are ever really fully free, right? We've always got some kind of a chain somewhere, or at least some kind of manacles or shackles or something, psychological or otherwise, right? So none of us are really, truly free. But I'm just saying, being free it's nice. It's I'm just thinking in the moment right here because it just hit me, like um, just walking back and forth in one of those cages compared to compared to just being free, being out of that cage and having a few more choices and a lot more fresh air and a lot more good things, good events, good people. But yeah, big, big divide between the haves and the have-nots. Big divide between the Republicans and the Democrats. Big divide between, religions like Judaism and Islam, or Christianity and Islam, or just huge divide, not only the country but across the world, huge divides. And that's, of course, that's where these conflicts arise. But it's been that way, as far as I know, since the dawn of human history. So it's probably not going to change anytime soon. But it is, going back to my original point, it is a little bit shocking for me to see or hear about all of these really, really vile expressions of anger. And, to see people every day that they just have this really hound dog look on their face. They're just, their face is just drawn down, and you can just see the constant derision in their eyes. Like everything they're looking at, they've got some kind of a criticism about, or it's just, you can just see it in them. They're just looking for an opportunity. So I like to try to avoid people like that, but you can't always avoid people like that. So sometimes you have to have exchanges. I try to be polite. When I see somebody in a hallway that's passing by the other way, I'll say hello. The amount of people that actually respond, of course, it differs from time to time, but I think it just seems like it's a low percentage of people that respond in positive ways. Maybe it's just that age group. Maybe it's just like you start getting older and you're like, F everything, F the world. But that's not how I see it. That's not how I feel about it. I feel like it gets better. I feel like it gets better. I don't have the sense that human life gets worse as you age. I'm thinking it gets better. It should, right? Because we learn from our mistakes, we grow, we develop, we learn new things. We learn things. We learn things about ourselves. We learn things about others. We become more capable, maybe, of navigating the course of our lives, right? There's drawbacks. There's always drawbacks. But I think overall, life gets better. And for those people that would do something heinous or thinking about it, look, just don't even think about it. Not only don't do it, that's out of the question. Don't even think about it. Think about something else. Think about something else and just wait. Be patient and wait, because things will get better. Things will get better for you. Things will get better. You might think that you're at some kind of a desperation stage where you really need to do something. Wait, the best thing to do is to do nothing. Do nothing. That's the problem, really. You're trying to do, and you're trying to do things for yourself, but you're doing it the wrong way. So just stop doing, right? But I think I will probably do oh, well, okay. All right, William. Well, yeah, what's going on at the shop, though? I mean, you guys are doing good over there, huh? That's cool. I love fabrication. I love the metal fabrication and, all that kind of the welding, the arc MIG, TIG. Um, I even took the oxyacetylene course. That was way, way back, though. I don't even think they use oxy anymore. We used to use it too. We used to take, well, I better not talk about that. But yeah, we used to be able the locks used to be made of like an aluminum that oxyacetylene heated up. This is when I was a kid. My older brother and his friends and other people would, sometimes me, would ride along and, hit those boxes at the car washes, take that acetylene torch, and they just hold it on the lock for a few minutes. It turned red. They just knock it with a hammer and grab the whole thing and go. New York State, upstate, Syracuse. What did you find? Wow. 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 Just laying there. Just laying there. Well, I mean, like I say, yeah, wow. You were doing good that day then, weren't you? I mean, for real. That was like the time. Well, John, that was, you're going way back, yeah, to the, thank you, Pinoid. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, you're going way back. It's like I think 1979 or 80. I was on escape from another jail in Michigan. I was on escape, and my girl had come out to the prison out there in Michigan, and I devised this big escape plan, right? And, we just put it in action, and it was nothing really. It was like a minimum security place. They probably would have gave me a ride if I'd asked, but there's this big manhunt, and we happened to find this car that had the keys in it. It had maps. It was like, gasoline and everything in it. We just jumped in it. We were just trying to stay warm. Michigan, it was cold. And we just started looking around the car a little bit. And, the keys were in the ashtray and had gas and everything. We just started up and took off. So we ended up going down to Georgia. And then the reason that we went to Georgia was because I had I want to call him a buddy. He was a co-defendant in the cases down there, but Carl Meinsner. So that's why we went down there, because Carl was going to give me a place to stay and help me avoid detection by law enforcement. But that whole scenario just shows how fucking stupid I was, really. That was just straight up unadulterated stupidity. That whole thing. I mean, yeah. That's how I ended up in Georgia. And I ended up on the chain gang in Georgia, not chained together with other people, what they call the chain gang. You go out every morning, bush X and yo-yos, and you clear ditches, and you walk around, go down those dirt roads, just like, pretty much similar to Cool Hand Luke. Sometimes we did spread gravel, sometimes we redug drains, sometimes we unrolled these giant nets under these big pine trees to catch the seeds or whatever. So, guys, been on here an hour. I'm going to cruise. I appreciate all you guys very much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your goodness and for your interaction with me and with this channel. I appreciate you guys.